Today I'll be talking about the novel I Who Have Not Known Men. This novel was written in 1995, and at the time it was considered very thought-provoking and a feminist novel, but I, and it seems many people on the internet, do not agree with this. I'll go ahead and give a little summary of what the book was about, and I'll talk about some of the points that I think contradict feminism that are involved in this book. The story is about 40 women who are imprisoned in kind of a gray cell. They're not allowed to show strong emotion. They're not even allowed to commit suicide if they want to. They're fed at certain times of the day. They are not given very many privileges. They're given small pieces of clothes to work with. They only can boil their food, and they have no idea why they're there. And they have a little bit of a recollection of the world before, but not much. They know that there was some kind of disaster and a lot of chaos, and then they woke up there. The prison is guarded by men who watch their every move to make sure that they're not breaking the rules. They'll crack a whip if they're out of line, and if they try to hurt themselves, they'll intervene and sedate them or do something else to prevent them from following through with that. So among these 40 women, there is a child. The child is maybe like preteen age, and she has actually grown up in this environment, so she's never known the outside world. She doesn't know what regular society is. She hasn't even seen things like stairs. She only knows what the prison looks like around her. So basically every day is monotonous and purposeless. But one day, there is an event where a siren rings out, and basically the guards run away. They don't know why, but one of them leaves the keys in the keyhole, and the child grabs it, unlocks the door, and frees everybody. So they all leave. They don't know what happened to the guards, and this is kind of their chance, right? This is their chance to live the lives that they always wanted. So the first thing they do is they try to find society again. They look around for different towns. They're not finding them. They are finding other prisons around, but the people in them were not so lucky. And I'll let you figure out what happened to them if you decide to read the book. But basically, they're finding out that they live in a land that may not be Earth. They're not sure. There's no seasons. The land is very homogeneous. It's all grass, a few trees, a few streams. There's not any mention of animals. So they eventually, after going to several of the prisons and finding out that there are not people there that they could interact with, there's basically nobody alive except for them, they decide to settle in and make some houses and kind of create a little town for themselves. This is where the book goes wrong, in my opinion. So many of the women start to get very depressed. They start to talk about what it was like to have children and men around them, which is an important, valid point. You know, that's important for life. I think that the main philosophical question that's posed here isn't what is the meaning of life, like what makes life purposeful. And the message that's kind of sent with this book is that being a mom and being a partner to a man is a woman's purpose. And Without those things in their lives, they're so unhappy that they don't really want to be alive. And I think that really, I think that's a very shallow perspective of an understanding of what women are and what women do in the world. Women are artists, women are creators, women do all kinds of things. If this book was written about men, would they really have them thinking that their life was pointless because they didn't have women or children around, or would they be engaging in things like games or theater or making art or other things to entertain themselves? And if I were to ask myself, what would I do in a situation where there wasn't really anything like in the world that had to do with society, I would start working on creating our own society. So the first thing I thought of, as I mentioned, is theater, like putting on plays for each other, even things that they used to remember, to entertain each other, making games, maybe making a board game with rocks and trees and things like that. But none of that was happening. It's just like their lives stagnated because they didn't have men and children around. But this book is very loved by many people. I am not one of them. Would I recommend this book? Honestly, yes. But the reason why is because it's only 6 hours by audiobook, which is how I usually read my books, because I like to do it while I'm doing chores or driving. And it's not much of a time commitment. You could finish it within a week, and you could kind of see what the hype is about for the people that do like it. It does, provoke some thoughts of what makes life meaningful, but I just felt it was reductive to women. Let me know if you think the same thing. I'd be interested to hear other perspectives and debate a little bit, but this is the first book that I actually felt compelled to make a review about, because I do not understand why women find this book empowering. Maybe it's because women were doing a lot of carpentry and a lot of things that usually are men's jobs in society. That doesn't feel like enough to me, because it's basically like we could live without men, but we're not going to thrive without men, and we're not going to be happy without them. I get that they miss men, but there's so much more to life. Even just like I know this is silly, I thought of what if they made a slide to slide into the river that they lived by, or found ways to I don't know, make a ball to throw back and forth, things like that. They just seem to be so stagnant and miserable. So let me know what you think.